Hello, friends, and welcome back to Warhammer with Long Island Wargaming. And this is Crossroads Game 2. And this is going to be the Lead Belcher Army. And this game, I lost the first game. Oh well. This game is going to be against another NerdHammer.net player. So, just a bunch of losers playing with dolls. And now I have my chance to redeem myself and tell Nerdhammer, hey, Long Island Wargaming has a chance since I've already lost this first time around against Casual 14-14. Maybe I'll have a chance against Justin here. And to make things worse, Justin is also bringing ogres, so this is an Ogre Kingdoms versus Ogre Kingdoms game. And it looks like we're fighting in the underground mushroom forest with giant shards of weirdstone all the way over to the right. And I get spells that I like. I get Wind Blast, I get Harmonic Convergence, I get Ice Shard Blizzard, which is meh, and then Chain Lightning, which I could deal with. Maybe I can kill some ogres and then jump and kill some more ogres and jump and kill some more ogres, and we'll see if that ever happens. And here is Justin's army. Saber Tusks on either side, Iron Blasters in the back and on the side. Then from left to right, next to that Iron Blaster, is Man Eaters. These guys have, I believe, Poison and an extra hand weapon and Stubborn. Then we've got Iron Guts with like 3 heroes in there, your standard gut hero thing, some bulls behind some Mournfang, and that's it. So these guys are actually deployed on like the 12-inch line, and then we're like goofing off, and then we're like, oh shit, it's Blood and Glory, so we we haven't moved his shit up to the 15-inch line. I'm like, crap. Just what I need against my Lead Belchers is a army that's not only really fast moving, it's also going to be starting 3 inches up. So he's going to get to me real quickly, which is, upsetting. But here's my deployment nonetheless. This is a Blood and Glory, like I just said, so I'm going to hide my banner units all the way in the back, so I just have Gnoblars chilling in the back. So honestly, if he gets to them, that means he destroyed all my guys and he wins the game anyway. And since the Lead Belchers haven't been doing so hot, I wasn't too upset about it. But I pulled my 9 bulls and the butcher and make them into a formation where they're not so deep. This way they can issue out more attacks to opposing ogres, but also the cannon won't have an opportunity of killing like 4 guys a turn. And no matter how you look at it, ogres get turn 1, so we're going to go ahead and say that this is Justin's turn 1. He moves up full, which is wonderful. The Mournfang decide to not take any dangerous terrain tests, nor do the Man-Eaters that go over the Cambrian quicksand, because Crossroads likes to have quicksands, which are scary. But look, he's moving up quick. Check out my cannon all the way over to the left. All I gotta do is move up 6 inches, pivot, and I got a nice shot down all those guys, which I'm looking super forward to. But I'm a Skaven player, and I'm spoiled, so I forget that I have to kill a guy to get to the next guy to get to the next guy. So I'm thinking, man, I could just kill a whole shitload of ogres, but that's not the case. It's not Skaven. Skaven are cheesy. So I believe he has more magic, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that nothing worthwhile happened, and we go ahead and do 2 wounds to the Iron Blasters. The Iron Blasters this whole game just kind of shoot at each other and miss, which is just sad. My Iron Blasters have done not well so far. So we go ahead and quickly move into my turn 1, and I'm going to do some Saber Tusk versus Saber Tusk action. And I go ahead and backpedal a little bit because I just don't feel like fighting anything, of course. I want to shoot at them instead. So my Iron Blaster goes ahead and moves up through that, not through it, but next to that difficult terrain so I can score some flank shots on some stuff. Also, the Saber Tusk is up there to go ahead and redirect, so if he decides to overrun, he'll go flying in some random direction, but otherwise he'll be chaffed up for the turn. So I go ahead and go Chain Lightning. I think it's a good move. Strength 66 attacks. I can hit a bunch of units, maybe it'll bounce. But it barely does any damage and it doesn't bounce. So I go ahead and do Harmonic Convergence, and I get that off, which is nice. The thing is he doesn't have a Dispel Scroll because I believe he has the Hell Heart, which is the miscast thing, which when it comes time to use it, I forget when he uses it, it fails, he rolls really low, but Crossroads comp, I think, makes you take one or the other. I didn't really look into it because honestly I brought the most obscure Ogre Kingdom list to begin with, so I didn't really have to listen to any of the rules for comp. And I do get Wind Blast off and push back these guys, the Man-Eaters, a couple inches. And now it's my favorite turn of this tournament, and that's the shooting turn. So I've got my cannon. I'm going to go ahead and do some massive damage. I'm totally feeling it. I have 10 inches. So I shoot 10 inches from that guy that's right there at the 1 inch mark or the 0 inch mark. I'm able to see him, which is great. So I figured, man, if I roll up a 10, it'll land there, and then I can bounce and hit all the Mornfang. Killing Mornfang would be super awesome. If it's short, then you know what, whatever. I hit some guys behind. So I don't remember what I roll up initially for the extra distance, but I end up rolling 2 2s for my bounce, which sucks so much. I am able to kill a Iron Gut, which is great, but man, there was so much potential in that shot. So much. So much. Iron Blaster's killing me. So I go ahead and unload shots into the Iron Guts with my Leb Elters too. I'm able to peel off 3 more guys, which I'm not entirely sure if that's good or not. Again, I don't even remember what spells he got off. I think since I didn't kill as many, he might have had +1 toughness or maybe regen. Either way, I wasn't able to kill as many as I think I should have been able to, but yeah. Also, check out the ogre next to the Slaughtermaster. It's a chick. Yeah, it's a naked she ogre. No wounds are dealt out here, but I do win combat since I charged, and he goes ahead and runs, and I cannot catch him. So we go ahead into Justin's turn 2. I guess I don't have a shot of his movements, but you can go ahead and assume he moved up as much as possible. And I believe these guys are turning around because during magic he goes ahead and Brain Nobbler is this spell? Brain Gobbler or whatever. It's a panic test. These guys go ahead and fail actually, and they turn away and run. He goes ahead and charges the Saber Tusk, which is great because it will delay him from getting to me any sooner. And in here, all of his heroes go ahead and move into the unit of man-eaters, leaving the one lead belcher behind. I guess with the rest of my shooting, I didn't say in my turn 1, but for the rest of my shooting, I went ahead and killed, I guess, a few more Iron Guts, which is great. So the unit's almost dead, but I go ahead and do what my lead belchers are best at doing and leaving one guy behind. This way he still has victory points for them, so I'm going to have to waste time shooting that one guy in order to get the points, but then again, it's Blood and Glory, so maybe I could win if I kill some heroes, but this is a nasty looking unit because he's going to go ahead and get regen and toughness on these guys in future turns, so he proceeds to get one of the 2, I forget which, but that counter does show that he's got regen, I think, if I remember correctly. It's a regen this turn. And I guess I finally got to taking a picture of his turn. So this is after his charges and remaining moves. So he has ogres running through that forest there. There's the one Iron Gut left and some bulls coming around. So I'm not too afraid of these bull units. I feel like I can shoot them up or fight them equally in combat. It's the Mornfang I'm going to be worried about. You can see I got my Iron Blaster into the bottom right hand corner. It's already taken a few wounds from the other Iron Blasters. So the Iron Blasters, are we going to shoot other Iron Blasters? Are we going to shoot ogres? It's this funny thing that both me and Justin have to try to figure out throughout our turns. But I do have 2 units of Nobblers that can use that can be used for redirecting those freaking man-eaters. So we go ahead and complete his shooting phase in which he destroys the rest of this Iron Blaster. And here's the shot of his guys coming at me. Here they come. Nice bases though. Check those out. So we go ahead into my turn too. You can see I use these Nobblers to do that cheesy little redirecting thing. I'm not too sure why I did this, because usually it works well for frenzied troops. However, he's going to be able to charge one, kill it, and then overrun it to the next one, which is fine. But then in his turn, he can combat reform to face me and then charge. So that was a misplay on my behalf. However, I do have him chaffed up for a little while, which is also nice. Everything else, though, just kind of backs up to the table edge, so I'm really towing the line here quite literally to the point where a single panic test will make these units just leave the battlefield. So in Magic, I go ahead and do Chain Lightning onto the Mornfang, which I'm really hoping I could kill Mornfang or 2, but I don't roll that great, and I do only 1 wound. But I do go ahead and bounce it to the bulls here to the left, and I do pull an entire bull off, so I do 3 wounds there, and then bounces one more time to that Iron Gut. Now I have a chance to kill it, however I don't. I only do 1 wound. So in shooting, my Iron Blaster goes ahead and takes a shot at the freaking Mornfang, and I go ahead and roll 2 2s again for my bounce, which is it's just so bad. This is the 3rd time so far this tournament that I rolled 2s for both bounces. The worst possible roll, except 2 misfires, but oh, man, that really sucks. So I do end up pulling one off, which is nice, but I wouldn't have minded, going a bit further and hitting those bulls to the right and maybe killing 1 or 2 there. So we had to go ahead and call a rules judge down to clarify this. So here's the back of my lead belcher unit that's going to go ahead and shoot at the man-eaters that are blurred out, and we'll go ahead and transition here to show you that this is what they're looking at. Are the Gnoblars causing soft cover or not? It looks like I can see the man-eaters, but they are a little bit elevated because of their bases, and the guys that are just there in front are going to cause line of sight issues anyway, so we go ahead and rule it as -1. I don't even know what the book says, and the TO is pretty cool about it, and for the most part I'm pretty laid back, especially with a lead belcher army. I must be. So we go with a -1 to hit him. So the regen banner really helps them out. I only ended up killing 2 guys. He still has the Butcher, the BSB, and the Slaughtermaster in there, so it's going to be tight when it comes to fighting this unit in combat. Hopefully I can get some more chances to shoot the hell out of it. So we go ahead and charges this unit in his turn. What I should have done looking back is set these Gnoblars up more parallel and caused a double flee situation. The Gnoblars would have just ran away and I would have gotten another round of shooting and magic. However, I do this whole redirecting thing, so now they're going to be stuck in combat and I'm going to not have anything to shoot at, so that is definitely an error on my behalf. And for some reason, he decides to go ahead and send this Iron Gut in also. So he goes for a clip, which is pretty funny. Difficult terrain tests deal a wound to the Iron Gut. So he actually has 2 wounds on him now. One from the Chain Lightning and then one from the difficult terrain test, which is pretty funny. Difficult terrain test actually does a single wound to the Man-Eaters also. The Bulls go ahead and issue a crazy charge to the Lead Belchers, but they fall short. And the Mournfang make a relatively easy charge. I think he needed to roll an 8 against these guys, and he goes ahead and does it. So, I mean, he's going to dish out a whole lot of damage, but I do have a lot of bulls, so maybe I can get some attacks out. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bulls in combat and 3 support attacks, so that's a handful in the front and a handful of support in the back with my extra hand weapons too. Honestly, I probably should have went with shields with this unit, but I honestly, when I made this list, I didn't even think I was going to do much with the bulls, which, if you watch most of my games so far, the bulls have done nothing, but they're actually seeing combat here. And here's just a shot of Justin's movement phase after remaining moves and everything. So he's got me in combat, which he needed to do in order to win this game. I honestly think the Blood and Glory did screw me a bit, because even that 3 inches would have made much of a difference. I think it would have. I think it definitely would have helped me out. But yeah, so besides that and the double flee that I should have done, I'm not looking like I'm in a wonderful position. So in shooting, I'm not sure I remember what the Iron Blaster does, but we do go ahead into combat, and I'm actually able to kill an Mournfang, which is awesome. So I do have my, that's not a BSB, I do have my Butcher sitting over there on the right. He's the guy with the keg on his back. He's, for the most part, a proxy in this list. I didn't get to finish painting my heroes, but oh well. So I end up killing one, which is great. I take, looks like 2 bulls die, and 2 more wounds are done, so that's 8. 8 wounds are done to me, but I have a rank, so I'm steadfast, so I'll chill. I don't mind. Ha! The Iron Gut is killed by a Gnoblar. I've got 2 Gnoblars in base contact, and I go ahead and kill him, which is awesome. I just scored so many victory points with a 2.5 point Gnoblar, so way to go. But besides that, impact hits and all sorts of attacks go ahead and kill me, and I'm going to just disappear. And he goes ahead and overruns into them, so that's great. And now it's my turn 3. So here's the battlefield. This is, as you can see, we got the Yingling over to the right here, and it's game 2, so we started drinking. And I look at John, because John's just chilling out here. He made the trip up with us. And I'm like, oh man, this flank's exposed to me. But I'm like, I made a vow to not charge. He's like, don't do it. You told me to like smack you in the face or punch you if you go to try to declare a charge with your lead belcher. So I don't do it. I don't. Looking at it now, maybe I should have. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I have done it? I would have gotten a handful of impact hits at strength 5. The Slaughtermaster's in here. He would have had some attacks. I would have been able to kill the freaking Man-Eaters. The other thing is his characters would have not made. Oh well, no, they were in the front from making way. Actually, no, I don't think he made way with them in the previous combat. So he would have had the opportunity to make way with them. So I don't know. He didn't make way with the Noblars, so he would have been able to have free reign on where they went. He would have moved them to touch the Lead Belchers, and I probably would have gotten destroyed nonetheless. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Was I smart to not charge, or should I have gone all in again and have lost the game? Oh, and same goes for the flank charge onto the Mournfang. Could have done that. I could have rolled up Ogre charges. I could have done massive amounts of damage. Well, we go on to Magic, and I Chain Lightning him. As you can see, he's been moving up his Iron Blaster, so he's actually within 24 inches. So I Chain Lightning him and do a few wounds, but don't kill him, so I go ahead and shoot the Iron Blaster out of my remaining Iron Blaster. So I kill that Iron Blaster, so I've got an Iron Blaster and he's got an Iron Blaster. We're even. So this is a shot of nothing, I guess. So I'm assuming I went ahead and took my remaining Lead Belcher units, which is all of them, and shot at the bulls that were just chilling here. So I kill a unit of 6 bulls, but I'm not shooting at the Man-Eaters, which means they're going to be at full strength because they're stuck in combat with Gnoblars. And he kills the Gnoblars, and he combat reforms, in which case when he does it, I'm like, oh yeah, shit. You can combat reform and face me. So I was kind of hoping he failed like his pursuit test, but there was no pursuit test to fail because I didn't run anywhere because he just demolished the Gnoblars. But yeah, yep. The Mournfang do a grind too. They slowly kill me. I'm able to do another wound, but that's it. So we're now in Justin's turn 4. You can go ahead and see that there's not much left of his, actually. He's got 3 heroes and 4 Man-Eaters. 2 Mournfang, the Bulls, and some Saber-Tusks. I actually have a lot of stuff on the battlefield. It's just the second that those 3 heroes go ahead and do something, I am totally boned. So everything on the right goes ahead and charges the bulls, oh well. And then the hero unit goes ahead and attacks the Slaughtermaster. So if I was smart, I would have moved the Slaughtermaster out of the way last turn and put him somewhere random, somewhere that he would have been more protected. But the second he kills my general, that's it. He's going to go ahead and win the Blood and Glory scenario. The bulls over here get smashed. And all this stuff runs off the table edge to pursue me, because I guess they've either failed their restraint tests or he wanted to run off, I forget. So I won't have anything to shoot at next turn. So he does go ahead and kill my general and my Lead Belchers and run off and do the same thing. He's going to have to come back on his next turn, which is interesting because I don't know how these rules work, and I'm not, or if there's even any rules, but let's say I go ahead and kill the Iron Blaster that's chilling on the other side of the table, and he's left with nothing on the board. Do I win the game? I don't know, is that a 40k rule if there's like nothing on the table? I don't know. He's got all of his stuff off the board except the one Iron Blaster. So I don't know if there's any stipulations to that. I would say, in all fairness, he just comes back and continues the game, but I don't know. So in his shooting phase, he also was able to finish off my Iron Blaster. So instead of shooting at the Iron Blaster, I could have moved up 6 inches and shot the Iron Blaster. He was within 24 inches, but instead I decided to go ahead and prepare for the returning Man-Eaters and heroes. So this way I can either shoot at them or charge them. So the error here, which is just so sloppy, is yeah, I've set up a little gauntlet for him so he can, get killed and he can't really run away from me without charging him, is the fact that I have now exposed my freaking flank to the Iron Blaster. And yeah, so that Iron Blaster is alive, and then we could see here's all of his movements after he's returned. And he's set up here so that I'm not going to get 2 flank charges. I'll get a front and a flank. This way he can maximize his attacks. And man, I'm totally screwed here from behind, obviously. But if I can somehow smash his unit with his heroes in there and break him or something, I'd be in pretty good shape. And as foreshadowed, the Iron Blaster goes ahead and kills 3 Lead Belchers, which sucks. I was going to be at Impact Hit Strength 5, maybe D3 if I got an Ogre Charge, but nope. I go ahead and lose all those support attacks, which really sucks. So in my turn 5, I go ahead and do those charges. And it ends up looking like this, and I do not get any Ogre Charges, which sucks. And then this happens. I scatter. Essentially, I'm able to leave 1 wound on the unit. So there's 1 wound on the freaking The freaking man-eaters. I can't believe it. My lead belchers, whether it's shooting or combat, I'll leave one guy with one wound left. This way I don't take all the victory points that are available to me. But, I mean, when you're fighting an ogre hero, star, or whatever, it is tough. I mean, I should have done a little bit better in dispelling the right spells and or not setting up that stupid thing with the Noblars. If I had set it up for a double flee, another round of shooting would have really, really helped. I'm not sure it would have done much against the heroes, but say I shot, killed the unit at least, maybe did a wound or two to the heroes, did some chain lightning, maybe a wind blast. I don't know. But nonetheless, definitely a fun game. It was cool to play another NerdHammer.net guy. Justin was a pretty cool guy. They invited us to come down to their gaming store at some point. Maybe we'll do that for one of their tournaments. They're about maybe 3 hours drive on a no trafficy weekend. So, but yeah, so I'm down 2 games so far. I have 1 point. 1 battle point so far. Will I be able to bounce back? I don't know. If you've watched games 1 and 2, I really thank you for watching and being entertained by the blunder of the lead belchers. But stay tuned for game 3 and we'll see how it goes.